5 sprites. So you can see here, one is a tiger, 3 deer and 1 hunter. So now what we are going to do, on start of the program, we are going to make this deer say something, move to this position, and once the deer moves to this position, we are going to make the tiger attack the deer. After tiger attacking the deer, the hunter is going to shoot down the tiger, and we are going to see, because there is no tiger, the deer population is out of control, and then the forest becomes desert. This is what we are going to do now. So okay, so to do this, what we are going to do, we are going to make this deer to come to this position on click of this button. So for that to work, we are going to use this component when green flag clicked. So what this does is, if you click on this green flag, this will start triggering the code blocks beneath these things. So okay, now since we have this, now we'll make the deer say something. Let us say, make it say like, wow, the grass looks yummy, something like this. And the time here, for instance, it has given us 2. This means that this text will appear for the next 2 seconds. So I am going to make it as 5, and after that we are going to make the deer come to this place. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to use the glide component. Yeah, glide to the particular x and y. Okay, before before this glide, maybe whenever we are going to move an object, or we are trying to make some changes with the object that you see in this canvas, we need to add resets. So basically what I am trying to say is, this deer, on clicking play button, this deer should start here. So we are just going to drag and drop this go to button directly under this when click. We are not going to change any value, because you can see both x and y values are same as shown in the canvas. So so now to move the deer to this position, just manually move the deer to this position. You will get the corresponding x and y coordinates of this position. So you can see all this glide, go to, x and y, all these components are dynamically changed to the particular value that you see here. So I am just going to use this glide component. I am just going to increase the time. What does this time mean? The deer is going to take 5 seconds to move from this position to this position. That is what the first argument means. Okay. So now after the deer moves to this position, we are going to make the tiger say something like, and the tiger should move to the deer. So how we are going to do? For that, we will need to create something called a variable. So what is a variable? Variable is just like a small variable is like a box that can store a value, and this value can be accessed across all these sprites. Okay, so I am going to create a variable called deer reached grass. So always note, the variable name should be meaningful, and it should always have alphanumeric characters, and also it can support special characters. The only special character that can have is an underscore. Other special characters are not allowed. And also the first character of a variable should never be a number. Okay, so I am creating a variable called deer reached grass, and what we are going to do, we are going to make this variable hold only 2 values, 0 and 1, and we are going to assume like 0 means false and 1 means true. Okay, so once the deer reaches position, we are going to set the deer reached grass variable value as 1. And as we discussed earlier, whenever we are going we are setting or changing any object, we are just going to reset the value. So at the start, we are going to move this same variable, and we are going to set it to 0. Okay, so this setting up of variable at the top is mainly called as initialization with the default value. Okay. Now, now once the deer reaches the position, the deer reached grass variable will be set to 1. So now the tiger sprite, we are going to have the same when flag clicked button, and after that we are going to use this wait until. What this wait until does is, this wait until is going to wait for this deer reached grass to become 1. So once it becomes 1, the code blocks below these things, this wait until will start execution. Okay. Since this deer moving of deer from this position to this position will anyway take like 5 seconds, and yeah, the variable initialization are done at the top. What we will do, we'll just create one wait block at the top, and we will just give an arbitrary seconds, like 2 seconds or something. This is just to, this will just prevent this tiger's code to get execution, get executed. That's all. Okay. So once the tiger, once the deer reaches the grass, the tiger is going to approach the deer. Before that, it is going to say something. For that, we'll just use this look, and let's make the tiger think something like, wow, yummy deed, yummy meal is awaiting. Okay, the tiger will think something like this, and after that, the tiger will move to deer. So for that, we can use yeah. So that if you notice in the previous tiger the deer sprite, we used glide to x and y. Here we can simply use glide to x and y and manually enter the deer's position, or else we can simply drag and drop the glide, and here we can choose deer. So which deer we want to target? Deer 3. So we can simply drag and drop this glide to and set it to deer 3, and the tiger is going to take 5 seconds to reach deer 3. Let's okay. Once tiger reaches deer 3, it means the tiger has okay. Let's see the output as of now, and let's proceed further. So see, as mentioned at start, the deer is saying something, and the deer starts to move to the position that we intended. After that, the tiger is saying something, and the tiger will move to deer's position. And as we told earlier, whenever we are going to change anything with respect to variable or object or anything, we need to reset the value. So we are going to use go to x and y at the top for this tiger also. Okay. Now once the tiger reaches deer, it means that tiger has ate the deer. So for that, we can create a new variable called tiger caught deer. Same way as earlier, we will set this value to 1, and at the start, this at the start of the program, this value will be 0. Basically, we are initializing it to 0. Okay, if the tiger has caught the deer, it means that we need to make this deer vanish. So we will again use this wait until block which we used earlier, which is going to wait for the tiger to catch the deer. So how we will know the tiger has caught the deer? We are just going to use this operator, equal to operator, and we are going to use this variable tiger caught deer, and we are going to set it to 1. Once tiger caught the deer, we are just simply going to hide the deer. And as always, we need to reset it. So I am going to move the show block to the top. Okay, and once the deer is hidden, it means that tiger has ate the deer. So I am going to create another variable, tiger ate deer. So once the tiger has ate deer, let's make the tiger to sleep. So what are we going to do? We are going to after the hide, we are going to set this tiger ate deer value to 1, and as always we are going to set that the same variables value as 0 at the top. And once the tiger caught the deer, it is going to sleep. So how are we going to do? We are going to again use this wait until component, and we are going to say we are going to place this equal to operator. We are going to use this tiger ate the deer, and once the tiger ate the deer, we are going to make the tiger taste. We'll just drag this thing and it is going to say, that's all. This can just assume that tiger slept off. Meanwhile, so once the tiger goes to this sleep mode, the hunter should be visible, and the hunter should say, okay, hunter should be visible, and he is going to shoot the tiger. But if you notice now, even if you run the program from the start, the hunter is visible. So what we need to do? We need to create another variable called tiger was shot. Tiger stepped off, and we are going to set this value to 1, and as always we will reset this variable at the top. And in the hunter sprite, we can see this when flag click is already there. So in the hunter sprite, we will just add one small waiting time, like 2 seconds or something, and after that we are going to use this wait until block, and in the wait until block we are going to have this equation. You can say the tiger stepped off is equal to 1. It means that the hunter can now be visible. So you can drag this show here and hide at the top, and after this the hunter is going to wait for another 1 second, and he is going to say I am going to hunt this tiger or clouds, something like this, and this will be visible for next 3 seconds. So after this we can add another 3 seconds, and we will say dishoom. That this simply means the tiger, he has shot the tiger. The same way, dishoom. Once he shot the tiger should vanish, right? So how are we going to do? We are going to be creating another variable, tiger was shot. Tiger was shot will be set to 1. As always we will be resetting at the top. Tiger was shot to 0, and if the tiger was shot, we will set this where they will create we will just have another waiting component for 1 second, and we will hide the hunter again. This means the hunter has just left off. So once the tiger is shot, we need to make the tiger disappear, right? So how are we going to do? We are just simply going to have this wait until again, and we'll add this statement, and we can add this tiger was shot 1, and we'll hide the tiger. Top will show the tiger. So now let's run the program and see. Okay. So there it goes to the grass position. Tiger is giving its dialogue and it's approaching the deer. Trade the deer and it stepped off. Hunter, hunter shot the tiger, and tiger vanished and hunter vanished again. So now it means the tiger was shot. So now what we are going to do, if the tiger was shot, we are going to multiply this deer. That means there is no one to hunt this deer. So deer is simply going to wait until the tiger gets shot. And if the tiger is shot, it is going to clone itself. So how are we going to do? We can use something called repeat. So what is repeat? Repeat basically means we are going to make some operation to be performed automatically under this block. So if I give this repeat statement, and if I add some blocks under inside this repeat block, those blocks will get executed automatically the number of times that is provided at the top. So in my case I have given 3, so all these blocks under repeat will be executed 3 times. Okay, so I am going to use a component called clone myself. Create clone of myself, and I am just going to place this clone as start. This means the whenever clone is created, this will get called, and we are going to move the clone's position to some random some random position. Maybe in 5 seconds the clone position can be moved to random position. So I am just setting it to random. Now if I run this thing, so once the clones are randomized, what we are going to do, we are just going to change the backdrop. This simply means that deer population has increased and the forest is completely ruined, the ecosystem balance is completely ruined. So to represent this, we are just going to change the backdrop from this forest to desert. So to do that, you will have some option called switch backdrop to, and you can simply switch it to desert. If you don't find the desert here, you can simply add the desert once, and then you will be able to choose the desert from the drop down. So as always, if you choose the desert here, you should be resetting somewhere in the sprite. So in my case, I am just going to use this tiger sprite, and I am just going to reset to jungle. So this is the final output. So you can see the random position is making the deers to appear in some random order. Even the deer is appearing in stage. So what we can do? Sorry. So what we can do? We can simply change this deer's clone component alone, and instead of it appearing gliding away to some random positions, what we can do? We can use this glide component itself. You can delete this component, and instead I'll use glide x and y. Yeah, glide to x and y, and I will retain the y position, and I will just give the x position to some random value. So for that we can use this pick random. This is just going to give the pick a random number from the number range you specify. In this case, it has given us 1 to 10, right? This means that it will pick a random number from 1 to 10. I will just add it as 100. So in any given time, it will pick a random number from 1 to 100, and this number is unpredictable. So let's run the program again.